No winter, we're done. We don't want none. Ladies and gentlemen, nice upgrade on the sign back there, Zoe. That's good work.
I found a marker. It was like nearly ran out, but
Yeah?
you know.
It's nice work. Why is the N not capitalized when the F and the A are? Artistic license?
I started drawing it and I drew it wrong, and I didn't want to, turn the paper over because I thought it would show. It's always
fair.
a critic, dude.
No, I didn't know if it was like a creative choice. You were taking some artistic license with the logo. You know, I'm an artiste, my man. I like to understand, place myself in the head of other artists.
I am always just a little bit off, so that's my reasoning.
Listen, Lonzo, I've told you, let what those mean people said to you years ago go, man. Don't let them have that much control over you.
What about the people who said
You're
that
not-
to me yesterday?
Well, I work for them, so I can't help. Ladies and gentlemen, but by the way, for those of you who have no idea what the hell we're talking about, come to our live stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or check us out on YouTube. Go to the Rob Brown Show on YouTube, like and subscribe. You can watch the show live. We got a big The Fan Upstate banner that hangs on the wall behind the Zoe while we're doing the show. Somebody done jacked it. Somebody yanked it. It's gone. So Lonzo had to makeshift a sign, but it's writing F on a page, A on a page, and N on a page, and pinning them to the wall. Because ingenuity is the mother of invention.
Or as I described it while you were out of the room, producer side, host side. That's how budgets work.
I got a flag.
I know.
Came out of my own pocket, though.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Welcome
What do
in.
we do if we show up to the live event Friday and the banner's not there? Because we're making assumptions here that that's why it's gone.
Have we reported that it's gone yet?
No, we haven't.
Consider this my official notification to the office, just in case they're unaware. Our banner's missing. It's just gone.
I know they're going to say, well, we don't report to you, but yeah, it's kind of it's part of the props for our set.
Can't work under these conditions.
The
Ladies and gentlemen,
wall is diminished.
It is diminished. It doesn't have the same. It doesn't pop. You know, the stream is all about what pops.
I can, you don't want me to hang posters back there. That's all I'm saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. What's up, world? Great to be with you on a chilly Tuesday afternoon. We have, is this it? Is this the last round of cold? Like, is this the last round before the sweltering heat moves in? I don't know how weather works here. I've only been here 2 years.
Dude, it's snowing in the north right now. I don't know. I mean, there's like a big snowstorm. Just be glad it's not snowing here.
Texas says, good morning, guys. It's abnormally cold today due to all the carbon dioxide released into the stratosphere from the overwhelming amount of chemtrails.
Skies are clear right now. So look out there. Look out there, Rob. Skies are beautifully clear right now.
We'll see if it stays that way.
Yeah.
Now that we talked about it, you know how this works. And definitely not based on findable plane schedules coming from the airport that we live next to. Couldn't be that.
There are two airports, actually. But the fact that they're listening to us and will do it just to spite you, I absolutely believe that.
Yes, the all-threatening they.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one that believes that.
Look out for they.
Hey, you're a plant from they, so no one's buying it.
They is out to get you. Watch out for they. When they arrives, you're in trouble.
When I think of them, the first name that pops in my mind is Rob Brown.
That's it. You got me. I'm part of they. That's exactly what part of they would say. Can you grab me clip 1 from our audio roster today? I found this yesterday. I didn't find it. Keegan found it yesterday after the show. And he sent it to me. And it's a short clip from a documentary that aired before the USFL game started on Saturday. is clip number 2. It aired before the USFL started on Saturday, and it features the voices of a couple of individuals. You'll be able to tell them apart. One is former Michigan running back De'Veon Smith. The other is the current head coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers, 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 Kirby Wilson. I'm not even going to set this whole thing up. I'm just going to play it for you. And then we're going to have a round table discussion. That's a Freudian slip that will be, you will see why it happened after it's over. This is the audio from the documentary that aired Saturday, right before the USFL tried to convince everybody to watch their football.
John Peterson, personnel director.
What's up, man?
Hi, Coach.
Good morning, man.
Well, he crossed the line. So we had to deal with it.
This is very difficult for me as a head coach, my first time. But we have a business. Okay, this is business, and you're a businessman. We all are, because that's the nature of the beast right now. But when I first talked to you guys on March 22nd, I had a handler. I covered some items that were very important to me.
Line 46 addresses that. Any disrespect of football or members, staff, USFL, hotel, etc. would not be tolerated.
And it's been brought to my attention that has occurred with you. So unfortunately, hear me out, unfortunately, the cost of doing business, I'm going to have to let you go. Okay?
I didn't think I did anything or said anything disrespectful. I can tell you what happened exactly.
It's not important right now.
Right.
It's not important.
I don't know.
It's already happened.
Right.
It's already happened.
I didn't say anything disrespectful. He said, is that going to be a problem? I said, yes. That's it. And I walked away. I mean, I didn't think that was disrespectful. Me saying yes, I don't eat chicken salad. And I was like, is there another option? Walked in with pizza, and I was like, can I get a slice of pizza? He said no. I was like, he said, is that going to be a problem? I said, yes. That's all I said. I didn't say no cuss word, nothing. That's all I said. I promise you, no disrespectful on my dad's life. I promise you I didn't say nothing disrespectful besides yes.
And I appreciate you sharing that. But the matters, it's done. It's done. And I appreciate you sharing it. But good luck.
Someone's feelings, hurt feelings, are a distant second to the greater good of the team. And we've moved on and turned that page, and I'm happy we did it.
I can't mope about something. Just go home and work. I ain't no dumb dude, so I'll figure it out.
So, here's what happened. De'Veon Smith was at the team hotel. Remember, all of the players are in Birmingham, Alabama, where the USFL is playing all of their games. De'Veon Smith is at the team hotel. It is dinner time. The Pittsburgh Mauler staff was served chicken salad. De'Veon Smith says, I don't eat chicken salad. He goes to the member of the hotel staff and says, do you have anything else? The hotel staff says, no. De'Veon Smith then sees a hotel staff member with a pizza and says, hey, can I get a slice? The hotel guy goes, no. Is that a problem? To which De'Veon Smith responded with, yes, and walked away. Then he found out hours later that he was cut from the team for disrespect. Disrespecting a hotel staff member by asking for a slice of pizza. Then, after that aired, and people started cracking on the Maulers going, wait a minute. You had a dude who was a stud at Michigan. He was the leading rusher in the most recent iteration of the XFL before it shut down. So he was clearly doing well. He was expected to be arguably the biggest threat as a rusher in the USFL. Said, you've got this guy on the team and you cut him because he asked for a slice of pizza from a hotel staff member. That's what happened here. While, by the way, Kirby Wilson preaches about respect. It's about respect. He disrespected a hotel member, I guess, by asking for a slice of pizza, in which case I have an infinite number of apologies that I need to issue over the course of my life. Cut him for respect. Didn't stand up when the guy came in the room, did not shake his hand after he told him that he was no longer with the team, said, good luck, stood up, walked to the door, shut the door, and left. I don't know why this bothers me as much as it does. You gave every member of the team chicken salad. Arguably the most successful member of your team in his football career said, don't eat chicken salad. There was nothing else made available for him. He asked for a slice of pizza and you cut him over a slice of pepperoni pizza. My goodness.
I think there's a great philosophical message sent out to the entire team by doing this, for sure. We are a team. We are uniform. We're trying to be of one mind and win. And this guy thinks he's better than everybody else and deserves something different than the rest of his teammates, his brothers, his family. Chicken salad, not good enough for him, even though it's good enough for everybody else. So he put himself above everybody else and thought he should be treated special, which it's probably not his fault. He's probably been treated special his entire life. But, sometimes you're not special. Sometimes you need to be a part of something greater than you, and he couldn't do that.
So on Friday, when we're at the bar and I buy everybody a beer as a team building exercise and you say, I don't drink beer, can I start coming on Monday and going, Lonzo thinks he's better than everybody else? He won't participate and do what everybody else is doing in a team building exercise?
First of all, this obviously is hypothetical because there's no way you can afford to buy everybody something to drink.
Mean but fair. Mean but accurate. Look, at the end of the day, if you want to be taken seriously as a league, you have to act like a serious league. All right? And the reason I bring this up is I want the USFL to succeed. I want there to be spring football. I don't understand. Like, I see all the people that like football bagging on this league, and I'm like, let me get this right. They're offering us spring football. No, it's not NFL caliber, but it's pretty good compared to what we've seen in the past. And you're saying no because why? Why? What is your issue with spring football that you want it to fail, right? I jumped on the tweet that went viral that contained the video that I just played you the audio from moments ago. And it was full of people going, yeah, I don't care. This league's going to fold, et cetera, et cetera. But look, if you do that, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
See, I think because of this clip, now I'm more inclined to watch because they emphasize team above individual, and that's the kind of thing I want to see. There's too many divas in the world right now thinking that everything's about them, and this team at least said, hey, team is above the U.
24-ounce Frosty coming down for the team building activity on Friday at the bar. Can't wait. Can't wait for Lonzo to say, I am not above the team. I am participating in this team activity.
You realize this is an open place, a public place, and you're kind of inviting everybody to come out because you've already said what you were going to do for them. And I think you need to be careful.
I said our team. We have a team here at ESPN Upstate, or sorry, at the Fan Upstate. Whoa, I'm going to get fired. We got a team here at the Fan Upstate. I know, I'm on one right now. I'm on a heater. We got a team, me and Mark Diesel Hendricks. I'm going to buy all of us a beer to share as a team-building activity. And I fully expect that you are going to go, you know what? Team before self. I know I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but team before self, I've got to participate in this.
I love how you try to change the narrative to make yourself right, which is what hosts do, and that's fine.
Changing the narrative, you just said him saying, I don't eat chicken salad is not good enough. You don't drink beer. I don't accept that in the name of a team.
You're right, Steven. It is a trap, but I already won earlier. So, he's pressing. You're pressing.
He win anything. I simply said, if that is the stance you take, I hope it's consistent. And I can't wait to be there for Lonzo's first Frosty soda
I
pop.
would say that it's kind of low that that there are certain more. I don't think this guy is morally against eating chicken
I
salad.
suspect he's not.
Yes,
I think he maybe just doesn't like chicken
yeah,
salad.
yeah. Wow.
How dare he have preferences in food?
I have other reasons why
Terrible
I don't
teammate.
like alcohol. I mean, I could go into those reasons if you want, and there
No,
might be some therapists listening right now who are waiting because the book they're going to be able to write on me someday is going to be amazing.
Doc, it all started when my second grade math teacher hucked a desk at me. Look, let me get to the point I was actually making. I really didn't mean this to turn into a conversation about the player. It's a conversation about the league.
I've been told that that's my worst take ever, or worst take yet. That's a good way to phrase it.
Yet.
It might be your worst take yet.
Well, it's early.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. There's more to come.
It's early in the day and it's early in Lonzo's career.
It's only 9:16. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that. It
There's
could be the
plenty of
last
time.
day of my career. You don't know.
So here's what I'm saying. First off, I genuinely do not understand why it is that people are like actively rooting for this league to fail, right? It's the same. The premise to me is the same as bowl season. When we get to bowl season and I see people jump on the interwebs and go, oh, there's too many bowl games, right? There's too much football. In what world do you live where you can actively complain about there being too much football? Because I got to tell you, I'm kind of ready for it already, and we're still, 200 days out? And I'm already ready for it. 200 sleeps between us and football, and y'all can play. So they give a spring league that's got some former NFLers in it. It's got some NFL head coaches in it. It's got some guys that are possibly down the road NFL players in it. The job here is to give us entertaining football and give these guys an opportunity to go put some football down on tape to try to sell themselves to the league. And people are rooting it for it to fail, and I don't understand. I don't get why you want it to fail. Why are people going on the thread about this video and going, can't wait till this league folds? Can't wait to... Why? Why do you want this league to fold? Now, the second is a word of warning to the USFL. I want you to succeed. I want you to be good. I want you to be really good. But if you are going to win people over, if you are going to get people into this, if you are going to get people to watch your league, you have got to act like a real league, right? You've got to act like a real league. And video coming out of your coach, a guy who has bounced around as nothing more than a running backs coach. By the way, 7 colleges and 9 NFL teams. The guy has not been able to keep a consistent job. So you got a coach who's bounced around between 7 colleges and 9 NFL teams as a temporary running back coach at all of them, who cuts a guy for having the stones to A, not want chicken salad for dinner, and B, ask a hotel employee for a slice of pepperoni. And then when he does cut him, has the stones to stand up, say, good luck, and walk straight out of the room, not having the guts to look the guy in the eye when he says good luck. He just gets up, says good luck, and leaves the room. That's a clown move. Now, there are coaches, there are owners, there are GMs in the NFL who have done terrible stuff as well. But overall, the league operates itself as a serious league. The USFL on Saturday and Sunday, to me, looked like a serious league with a lot of potential. But this is the kind of stuff right here that makes people laugh at what you are trying to do. And that's too bad, because I want this. I want a genuine, good spring football league. There's nothing wrong, in my eyes, with finishing the Super Bowl in February and then in April firing up another round of football. I don't expect it to be NFL good. I don't expect it to be even a threat, like a little bit. But more football is a good thing in my life, not a bad thing. I want you to succeed. But the deck is stacked against you before you even kicked off the first game last Saturday. The deck was stacked against you before you kicked off the first game. Don't hurt yourself more by allowing clown shows like this to become the narrative. Because right now, watch this. Hey, Lonzo, name me a USFL team that's not the New Orleans Breakers or Pittsburgh Maulers.
New Jersey Generals.
Bravo. Well done.
You seem to forget that the USFL existed at one point and
Okay, fair enough.
had some of the same.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If I asked 90% of the people on the street to name me a USFL team that's not one that we've talked about on the show, because everybody in Greenville listens to the show, they couldn't do it. I'd be willing to bet that. The USFL is going to have a hard enough time getting good press. They don't need dumb stuff like this happening.
So I'm confused about one thing. Where did this come from? Is this something they put out themselves?
Apparently so. Well, I don't know if they put it off or there was a documentary company that was asked to do a doc on the USFL and they put it out without the Maulers knowing it was coming out. But the Maulers, by the way, released an official statement on this after that doc aired. They put out a statement. Hang on, let me go back and find it. But basically it said that there were multiple, here it goes. On the first episode of United by Football, the weekly USFL All Access docuseries on Fox, De'Veon Smith was shown on camera being cut from our team by Coach Kirby Wilson. The show captures hundreds of hours of film with the intent of providing transparency to fans, but unfortunately, much of the context was left out in this moment. Smith had violated 3 team rules in a 24-hour span, and in this particular incident, disrespected a cafeteria worker, which was not captured on camera. Smith has subsequently reached out directly to Coach Wilson to apologize and asked to be reinstated to the Maulers roster, which is fine, except for De'Veon Smith responded on Twitter and said, "What rules did I break? Now you're lying on my name, say less." And straight up accused them of making this up. The problem the USFL has is that today, Tuesday, April 19, 2022, 1 week deep into the season, we are not talking about good football. We are not talking about some of the guys we saw step up and step out. We are not talking about entertaining football. We are talking about what? A 2-minute video clip that looks like a clown show that aired in a docuseries that nobody watched. That's bad for the USFL.
So is this an NXT, WWE, AEW, or Impact storyline?
Cutting a guy for asking for a slice of pizza is a Vince thing. You know it. You know it. Tell me right now, if the storyline wasn't Otis trying to get comeuppance on Vince because he cut Tucker because Tucker asked for pepperoni, you'd believe that's a Vince story. You know it. I'm not even saying it's bad.
Tucker would ask for a loaded meat pizza, not just pepperoni.
You get the point. All right, let's take a break. Your thoughts on the USFL? Lonzo says this story makes him more inclined to watch it. Not me. Kills me. Not a fan. Your thoughts are welcome. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. Yesterday, we found out that the Carolina Panthers are the leading candidates to bring in Baker Mayfield, if you believe those reports. One Panther spoke out, loudly about it. We'll address that and why I do think they end up with Baker, but after the draft. That's coming up next on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
invitation to change the Alexa on the person who just changed it to be.
Are they still in there?
Yes, while they were trapped.
Do it real quick. Oh, I forgot my honor. Do it real quick and then just push the red button. Then walk out.
Nah, they'll recognize my voice. And I'm afraid of everyone in the building because, Rob still hasn't figured out that the guy who got cut played for Michigan. Of course, I'm going to find a way to go against that.
Alexa, play Swedish jazz.
Really comes down to who are you willing to start a war with? And I am willing to start a war with anybody, but that guy who got cut for wanting pizza, what college team did he play for?
Michigan. Is that why you're on the hate wagon?
Would have thought you would have got it earlier.
Well, I'm an idiot.
For those of you watching on stream, yes, I put my fingers through my hair and I thought of going Fabio, but instead I went Undertaker.
Can't roll my eyes up that far.
You gotta put your head down a little
Also
bit.
got my contacts in.
Yeah. Ooh, what happens if you do that with contacts in?
They'll slide up to the top of your eyeball and get
Ooh,
stuck
how you
inside.
get them out?
You don't. You wait.
Oh, what do you mean wait? Wait for them to work themselves out?
Yeah, I mean, you can help it along by, like, rolling your eyeballs up and back down a bunch, but there's really nothing you can do except just wait it out.
That sounds painful.
If you ever wondered what Lonzo looked like having a one-man rave, you just got your answer. If you're watching the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or by going to YouTube and searching The Rob Brown Show. Drop the big bass. Reports started filtering in about 48 hours ago that the Carolina Panthers were potentially interested in bringing in Baker Mayfield as their quarterback, which I think makes sense, frankly. I think it makes sense for a few reasons. Number one, Bake's not bad. A lot of people are going to tell you that Baker is bad. Baker is not bad. Is Baker gonna win you a Super Bowl pickup? No, not really. Not really. But Baker Mayfield also came into Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland. And it's a guy that's going to average about 61% completion percentage. He has never, with the exception of this year, where his shoulder got banged up. Remember that awkward landing he took? He threw for 3,010, 17, and 13 this year. An 83 passer rating. And I want you to remember the offense of the Cleveland Browns this year. Last year, not 5 ago, last year. 35-63 through the air, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. 3,800 yards in 2019, 3,700 yards in 2018. You think Sam Darnold's giving you 3,800 yards? Nope. Bake will, though. You think Sam Darnold's giving you 27, 22, and 26 touchdowns through the air? Nope. Bake will, though. You think Darnold is going to give you a average passer rating just a tick shy of 90? Nope. Baker will, though. Baker's the best quarterback in the room right now. So I've told you, the gamble is, do you go with the draftable guys? Do you go with Malik? Do you go with Kenny Pickett? Do you go with Matt Corral? Now, 2 weeks ago, the answer to that for me was yes. Yes, you do. But 2 things have changed since then. The first is that it is looking more and more as if the Giants are going to trade out of the 5 spot right ahead of Carolina, meaning that there is the potential, if anybody else sees a draftable quarterback that they really, really want, they might jump ahead of that. In the NFL draft order right now, there's nobody ahead of Carolina that needs a quarterback. The Jaguars have their guy in Trevor Lawrence. The Lions maybe have their guy in Jared Goff. By the way, did you see Matt Stafford's cell phone commercial, Lonzo?
Oh, it's excellent.
It's
yes.
spectacular.
It's very good.
If you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and look up Matt Stafford's cell phone commercial. It's amazing. Who is it? It's Lily, right?
It is Lily, yes.
Yeah. It's Lily. And he walks in and he's like, hey, I heard, and I'm paraphrasing it, but I heard new customers can get a new phone. And she's like, yeah. And he goes, any condition? And she said, yeah. And he said, so even if I've had my last phone 12 years and I've loved it more than anything else in the world, it can be traded for a shiny new upgrade, even though you loved your old phone as much as you did, right? I mean, it's just an absolute slap. And it's hysterical. Anyway, the losers in that trade, the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff, could take a quarterback. I'm not saying they will, but very much could take a quarterback. The Texans seem set with Davis Mills. The Jets have a quarterback. They're still working with Zach Wilson, which means that as of right now, there are 2 spots available in the top 5 a quarterback could go. Number 2 and number 5. Either Detroit could take one or could theoretically trade back in the draft to somebody who wants one. The Giants will not take one, but if they do indeed trade back, as the rumor is they will, I suspect the only reason anybody would jump to 5 is to get ahead of Carolina at number 6. So what I mean by this is the way that it could work out is that a team jumps up to Detroit, takes a quarterback at 2, or Detroit takes a quarterback at 2. A team jumps up to number 5, trades with the Giants, they take a quarterback, and now here's Carolina sitting at 6. With zero ability to do anything about it, by the way, unless you just want to have one pick in the draft. Because if you're going to trade up, whether it's to the Jets or the Lions or the Texans, trading up to 5 doesn't do you any good, right? There's no point in trading up to 5 except to keep a team from getting number 5. Which means you swap 5 and 6 with the Giants, but you got to give them all the back end capital you have to do it. So you end up in a spot where it is more than possible. It is a heavy potential that 2 QBs come off the board before the Panthers draft at 6. If that's the case, you are effectively left with no choice of the three, the big three, Kenny, Malik, and Matt. You're likely ending up with Matt Corral, and I haven't heard from a single person who thinks that Matt Corral's worth a 6th overall pick. That's a desperation pick. So the Panthers then have another option, which is trade back in the draft rotation. However, they won't know that probably until draft day, right? Now, if it shakes out that Detroit and the Giants both get out of the way before the draft, then if you're Carolina, the writing is on the wall. But it is likely you won't know those 2 picks have been traded until draft day, which means you won't know until you are effectively on the clock. Now, you can still trade back at that point, but you got 2 minutes to work that trade out. And that's a tough deadline to meet, right? Unless you got a deal in place. You go in, you sit down on draft day, and you know that the, LA Chargers, maybe the Arizona Cardinals, right? Because the reports now are that Kyler Murray may force a trade out of Arizona. Arizona needs another quarterback. Maybe they work out a deal. You say, hey, look, here's the deal. If our 2 guys are off the board on draft day, then we'll pull the trigger on the trade. But if it's a team trading up for QB, they may not want the guy that's left over, just like you don't. That leads me to why Baker's got to be the guy, right? Because if you get to that point in draft day where your 2 guys are Kenny and Malik, your 2 guys are off the board when it's your turn to draft, and you make the trade back, or excuse me, you can't make the trade back because it's too late at that point. Baker Mayfield comes cheap, man. Baker comes cheap at that point. Cleveland's got to get rid of him. We've talked about this 100 times. Cleveland's got to get rid of him. They've got to move on. There's nobody else that is going to be interested in him. Baker's a steal. A 3,500, 25 touchdown a year guy is almost free for you. And it lets you use that number 6 pick on a player that is going to help Baker Mayfield succeed, a left tackle. Charles Robinson or whoever. Charles Cross or whoever. That's the move. I played this out of set yesterday when we got off the air, Zoe. And I tried to come up with every possible scenario. One of Detroit or New York trades out. Both of them trade out. Neither trades out. Both quarterbacks that are top 10 picks are gone. Neither of them are gone. The more I played it out, the more I came to the conclusion that, like it or not, Baker Mayfield is going to be the best option on the table. Not because he's the best quarterback, but because he's a proven commodity. He comes cheap, and it frees that number 6 pickup to get a guy who is going to help him. The more I think about it, the more I think that's the play.
Yeah, I think so too. And the fact is, as you pointed out earlier, he's a winner. And he was hurt last year and still played pretty well through the pain. And he's doing pretty well right now as far as we know. He is the better guy out of all the guys you have, without a doubt, and the best option because he's proven the guys in the draft, they may end up being pretty good down the road. We don't know. But the fact is, it's a gamble. With him, it's not. You know what you get, and despite all the media onslaught against him, he does too many commercials. So do a lot of people. I mean, how much time does it take out of your day to do a commercial? I don't get that slam right there, and a bunch of other ones. And I see that Carolina Panthers fans, some of them are really upset that this is a possibility. But those same people will be really happy when you're looking at 5 or 6 wins early on in the season compared to what you had last year and the last couple of years.
What's the old phrase? better the devil you know. You know what Bake is. You know what Mayfield is. You know what he's capable of. You've seen him do it. No idea with Malik. No idea with Kenny Pickett. And Baker comes with some help from Cleveland paying his bill. Probably not much on the trade table to get him. And you get to hold on to that number 6 pick and either use it to build some more capital down the road or bring in a tackle. It's the right way to play it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Want your thoughts, Panthers fans? 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read it on the air. We got more coming up. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Josh, welcome in, fella. Good to have you, big dog. Happy Tuesday. I have not watched any wrestling this week. Intended to, just have been caught up in this adulting thing sucks. Yesterday, Lonzo, I went to the DMV because, and I'm pretty sure I shouldn't say this, but it is what it is. I haven't gotten the address on my driver's license changed since I moved.
Well, it's really important that not only you do that, but you also change your license plates and, do the things that you do when you move to a place. That's what you're supposed to do.
I've heard.
Speaking of adulting, yes.
I've heard. So I went to the DMV. I get to the DMV, and I take the little ticket number, and the wait is over an hour. So I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait. Finally, I get to the counter, and the young lady at the counter, I said, I need to change my address on my driver's license. She goes, well, I can do that for you, but it's going to take a little while. She said the faster option is to go to the website, and you can just change it on the website. You log in with your DMV number or whatever, social security number, whatever. You log in through the DMV website. Here's the site you go to. You pop in your new address. It changes it in the system. I said, oh, okay, cool. I'll do that. So I went back in the little lobby area. I went on my phone. I went to the site. I popped in the new address. I got it done. I walked back to the counter, and I'm that guy, and I snag her between customers. And I'm like, all right, it's done. She said, okay, good. And I said, well, do I get my new license? And she said, yes, we'll mail it to you in 2 to 3 weeks or whatever it was, 2 to 4 weeks. Except for tomorrow, I have an appointment to get a new passport because in August, the lady friend and I are going to do some traveling abroad. So I said, well, I actually need a hard copy. She said, well, we can probably print you out a hard copy, but you'll have to wait in line. You'd be kidding me. So I walked over to the little, I'm like, well, I've already come through. I got the process. Like, can I just do it right now? And she's like, no, I'm sorry. I have customers in line. You'll have to get back in line because that's a whole new transaction. So I go back over to the little machine, punch in for a number. The wait is now 1 hour and 25 minutes. I'm talking to the little guy running the machine, and I'm like, let me ask you this. I'm really hungry. If I take the number and leave and I come back, is that cool? And he's like, we don't care, but if you're not here when the number comes up, you go back to the back of the line. And I'm like, you know what, I'm done. So I just left.
Which DMV did you go to? Okay. Have you looked around to find? Sometimes there are some that are quicker.
First, I went to the one on University Ridge in downtown. It is closed. Does not exist anymore. So that's really that's the closest one to my side of town. But had I stayed and gotten that done, that would have been close to 4 hours waiting in line for a driver's license.
So what you're saying in the digital age, that things are not faster than they were, like 10 years ago?
I'm saying I came to when I got here and I had to get my new license. I had to get it right after the COVID lockdown started. So the only way to get into the DMV then was to set an appointment. And so you could set an appointment, but of course, everybody was doing it. So it took me almost 2 months to get my license here because that was the first available appointment. It was like 2 months after I signed in to get it done. Now they're taking them back in person, and I don't think you can do online appointments anymore.
Prisma in the next break.
10-4.
So Owen Saturday night when I left the room turned the heat up.
So it's him.
Well, we already knew that. I called him out on the air about it. It was like, dude, what's wrong with you? It's hot in here.
Skinny people.
What I said is, I have very little power. The power that I do have, I'm wielding now by turning the air conditioner up. I got it, Steven. But here's the thing that you don't get, that Rob and I were not fighting. We were, doing our job. And Rob's job is to trap me and make me feel uncomfortable.
Lonzo and I don't fight. We passive-aggressively make comments to each other and then leave.
Are you not entertained, Steven? I think you've seen me fight with people or heard me fight with people before, right on these airwaves. I think you can tell.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio, rounding out our number one, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up in hour number two, we'll have a review of last night's NBA games. We'll have a little more analysis on the South Carolina Garnet and Black game. I do not know why it is that I have received so many texts over the past 48 hours about attendance at spring games.
So lazy. It's so lazy. Who would do a show about that? I just don't get it.
Can I just be clear? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I care about what happened on the field. And I got some breakdown on that, which I'm going to give you coming up later on in the show. We have got a little bit more fallout in the NFL. We told you a minute ago, and we're going to break down why the Cardinals might be trading Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler or the Cardinals know what they're getting into here, right? Kyler Murray is not on the level of a Deshaun Watson. Kyler Murray is not on the level of an Aaron Rodgers. Those are teams, as Cleveland did, that I believe would drop a really good quarterback to make that trade. I would ask Lonzo how many teams he thinks would drop a good to really good quarterback to pick up Kyler Murray, but I know his answer already. I don't think Kyler Murray knows what he is getting into here.
My list is very short.
Good one. Talk about that. The next iteration of The Match has been announced. I've enjoyed The Match is all the matches. We got the next list of competitors, and for some reason, I'm actually really interested in it. Talk about that coming up in a little while. And South Carolina has 2 more players enter the transfer portal yesterday. Football. What's going on there? I got a breakdown. Not time to push panic yet, Gamecocks fans. My name's Rob, he's Lonzo, and you are listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Say about my friends at Prisma Health, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you. I used to be healthy and in shape. I used to be an athlete, man. Now, if I sleep on the wrong side of my body, I am broken the next day. That's why we are hooked up with my friends at Prisma Health, because stuff happens. Like, hypothetically, you are, standing up watching a football game, and then all of a sudden you just pass out and go face first into a concrete floor. And you want to know, why? Why is that? Why is that a thing? That's where Prisma Health comes in. When I have had health issues since I moved here, which fortunately aren't that often, I am just a paragon of health and well-being. When things go wrong for me and I need to know why, Prisma Health is there for me. Prisma Health is there. And when I say there, I mean everywhere. There are Prisma Health locations scattered around the upstate, so that when you do find yourself in a situation where something bad happened to you, Prisma Health is there, close, and available. They have got multiple Minute Clinic style setup immediate care centers you can go to, whether it's an orthopedic issue or otherwise. They have got locations that specialize in different healthcare scenarios. Maybe you've got a cancer issue or whatever. They've got you hooked up. Plus, thousands of healthcare professionals within their network to find one that you communicate with and that you trust. And of course, the most up-to-date knowledge and state-of-the-art technology so that your healthcare can be trusted to our friends at Prisma Health. Check them out online at prismahealth.org. Prismahealth.org. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate. Texter said, that's why your show is superior. Zoe calling Mark lazy made my Tuesday.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Josh, you're right. So if Alabama only had 40 people there using the logic that's being used by other people, then that means Alabama is going to be horrible this year. And the fans obviously don't care about them. Yeah, I try to stretch things out a little bit, Steven. I probably won't do another one for a couple months unless something major comes up. Been trying to find macaroni ice cream, but I can't find it anywhere, even though it's supposedly for sale in the area.
I'm glad you're not. I don't know what Tara's talking about, but there are a lot of.
All right, so Tim just texted me and said that the text line's getting weird. And
That's what I was just about to tell you.
Yeah. So I don't. I'll look at it in a moment.
There are
Since I know weird and
there
can
is
recognize
an
it.
inordinate amount of messages for a conservative talk radio show regarding phalluses. Like I expect that during your show. I definitely
that's
expect
funny.
it during our show.
Yeah. So they're trying to flood the text line to make it difficult for her when she's.
No. It is clearly about something she's talking about on the show, because they are responding with like responses to something she said,
Oh, okay.
including the joke that says, "Tara, the penis size study was headed up by, wait for it, Anthony Weiner." That's a text that Tara got.
That's actually pretty funny. So she's reporting about sizes around the world for some reason. And you thought it was just politics.
Lonzo, I never thought our political talk radio station would out Rob Brown, the Rob Brown Show, on a random Tuesday morning, but apparently it's been done.
See, it's not that. It's not a political talk radio station. It's current events radio. So it's not billed as. It's news and talk. So there's news and then there's talk, and you talk about things that are going on in the world, in the community, and sometimes things pique people's interests, apparently.
So, our not political talk radio station, our news talk station down the hall, which I don't think it's unfair to say has a slant towards one side or the other. Not slant, that's not the right word. I won't even go there. Let's just say it's not the conversation I expected on that show that we share a text line with.
So what you're saying is, in your mind, there's no fun there.
Is that what I said? Or
Yeah,
did I say I did not
that's what I get out.
expect a conversation about dude sizes around the world to be frontline news on that particular show, on that particular station?
We don't have the context. I'm curious about the story.
Sure I figured it out.
I'm curious about. All right, I'm not really curious about the story, but unusual things have been talked about on that radio station all the time. Over my 20 plus years there have been a lot of shows that have nothing to do with politics. Period.
Well, this one definitely does not.
I was gonna say, if you're on the other side of the aisle, do you just automatically think that all they do is talk about your side, and that's not how that works. I mean, it is.
So you do admit there is an aisle.
There's no doubt. There is no left-leaning talk radio. That doesn't exist. It went out of business. It was called Air America.
So it did.
Yeah.
So they are having a conversation about the size of the male anatomy on average around the world.
I feel bad for Vince because he's got to follow that up and look at the text line. So who knows what he's going to talk about on his show?
Let me put it this way. Someone just sent a limerick on the text line that, Lonzo, I am uncomfortable reading on my show.
Yeah, we've got a guy that's really good with limericks. Has been sending
I'd say
stuff
he
in
writes
for
limericks.
Yeah.
I would say he's good at them.
Well, I mean,
seen 'em.
All right, it's subjective.
Fair.
It definitely is.
This one's really funny.
And again, if you're on another side of an aisle and the majority of the limericks seem to lean on the other side, you're not going to like them. So.
This one,
But funny is funny.
This one's really good, and I will read it on the Facebook stream where I can't get in trouble for it.
Can I leave the room when you do that? 'Cause,
Absolutely.
okay. All right.
Absolutely. I will read it on the stream where it's allowed. Facebook.com/thefanupstate, Twitter.com/thefanupstate, or check us out on YouTube by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show, and you can watch the show live every day. I'll read it on the stream during the next break. I wouldn't even read this on my show, and I promise you, I don't have the filter on this show that I assume they do on that one.
Yeah, there again, there's an assumption. So it's all up to the producer and and other things.
Lonzo,
Who-
you would not let this limit be read on any show on
No,
that station.
I wouldn't. And
Right.
and hopefully the producer would not either, or I and other people would have a talk with them. So but when you get into subject matter like this, it's probably kind of rough because as a producer, you're sitting back going, my God, what do I do? I don't know what to do. My job could be in jeopardy here. I can only hit the dump button so many times. And yeah,
Don't give that secret away.
well, if you drop something, you're gone pretty quick. So
Steven says, can I text into that show about them being late as we have already covered the Icelandic Private Part Museum?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go right ahead. We share the same text line. Go ahead.
Mention the Rob Brown Show has already done a full virtual tour of the Icelandic Phallus Museum. Please make that known around my building where I work. I'm begging you, Steven.
Well, there is a promo, and a lot of times it plays in the restroom. So I don't know. I don't know if there's an actual.
It doesn't play in the restroom. Icelandic Jazz plays in the restroom.
Except for the guy who just turned it to B for some reason.
Losers.
But
Losers.
whatever you're into, I guess.
All right, couple of thoughts wanted to get to here on this hour of the show. One thing, we talked about this a little bit back on, what was it? Well, I guess Monday, because that's the only other day this week we've been on the air. I'm pulling my life together today. Don't worry about me.
The week has not been that long. I'm sorry you had trouble at the DMV, okay? Yeah, it's only
Dude, I was
Tuesday.
there for 4 hours yesterday afternoon and did not get what I went in for. And by the way, not a shot at DMV workers by any stretch of the imagination. I did not know that the Greer DMV was going to be absolutely popping yesterday. 4 hours I was in that joint. 4. All right. Couple of things. We talked yesterday about the fact that National Football League wide receivers are at a point where there are a number of them, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, amongst others, that they are willing to push the pause button on their team in order to get that cheddar. They are watching quarterbacks get redonkulous contracts, like Aaron Rodgers, who just got the largest contract ever. Deshaun Watson, who got a, $274 million contract, all of it guaranteed, which is insanity. And we're starting to see wide receivers get that money. We saw Devontae Adams from the Packers get the largest non-quarterback contract of all time, only to have it surpassed a week later by Tyreek Hill, who's now a Miami Dolphin. Problem is, there's a saturation point. I don't know where it is. I can't even venture a guess. Like I said, I'm not a salary cap expert because the salary cap's not real. But there's a saturation point. And I wonder if Kyler Murray is about to find it out. According to Jeremy Clough of the Arizona Republic, the Arizona Cardinals have been considering trading Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, of course, the starting QB there in Phoenix or Tempe or whatever as they play. One NFL analyst, according to Mr. Clough, said that, quote, "I think we've seen the last of Kyler Murray in an Arizona Cardinals uniform." He said that it was former NFL wide receiver James Jones who showed up on the NFL Network's NFL Total Access show and said, quote, "I think Kyler Murray is out of here. I think Kyler Murray is not going to be in Arizona going into the season. It's just too much. It's been too much since he's came into this organization, especially this season. It's always been, well, this ain't right, that ain't right. Well, this happened and that happened. It's just been too much." So I think the organization is like, you know what? There's a lot of teams out there with some draft capital. This is a young phenom, a young superstar in the NFL, possibly could win 1 or 2 MVPs. So I think he's out of Arizona. I think somebody is going to give a deal to the Cardinals that gets Kyler Murray out of there and gets him on a new team. There's just too much draft capital and there's too much going on. I don't know if the organization wants to deal with. And even if you do pay him, I see this happening again. I see some problems with Kyler Murray. The roster ain't this or something may happen, but I think we've seen the last of Kyler Murray in an Arizona Cardinals uniform. Of course, the speculation about the drama between the Cardinals and Murray has been unending this offseason. And it picked back up last week when the NFL's Tom Pelissero reported that the QB's agent removed his opening contract proposal with the Cardinals and that other NFL teams were monitoring the situation between Murray and the Cardinals, who had been embroiled in a contract saga this offseason. After the QB, again, drama, scraped his social media of all Arizona Cardinals photos. Ladies and gentlemen, as an elder millennial, as a millennial chief, as a millennial who has seen some stuff, the final straw in any relationship in the year 2022, the final straw in a relationship is when you bleach them from your social media, right? Because your social media is your identity if you are in that generation. Now, I'm happy to say there are some people who are completely quitting social media. Good on you. But the way that you tell somebody, I am donezo with you, is to remove them from your social media, which is effectively removing evidence that they were ever in your circle. That's how you do it. When you break up with a girlfriend, you go through and you scrub yourself from every picture you were in with her and you delete all the ones that you put up. When you leave a place of employment, you remove it on a bad note. You remove that record from everywhere that's not your resume, right? That is the end of a relationship in 2022. And Kyler did that. Now, what I'm going to be interested in seeing is what happens if the Cardinals do go ahead and put Kyler on the trade block? What happens if they do go ahead and tell the rest of the league, hey, young QB for trade, hit your boys up with an offer, let's see if we can get a deal worked out. Because I'm looking around. Now, let's not pretend that Kyler's trade wouldn't be impacted by Kyler's behavior.
Which is why there's a perfect place to send him. And no offense to my buddy Patrick Brown, but you send him to Detroit. You want to whine, you want to cry, you're unhappy, go to Michigan.
As my mother said, I'll give you a reason to cry. You want to cry? I will give you a reason to cry. Kyler, enjoy Detroit. But again, the question is, sincerely, A, would Kyler's behavior this offseason, right? Remember he put that long social media post up where he's like, oh, I love Arizona. I love everything about Arizona. I love the people. I love the community. I love the food. I love the music. I love the Cardinals. But also, I hate the Cardinals and everything about them. I want out. He didn't say that. He said he wants to remain a member of the franchise. He said he wants to retire there, which is, of course, could you imagine the first quarterback that goes, I don't want to retire here. Hey, man, how do you feel about being the quarterback of the blanks? Hey, it's a job, but I don't want to retire here.
I'm looking forward to my next contract so I can hit the road and be out of this place.
Yeah, I have heard so many NFL media members that are like, well, he said he wanted to retire there. Yeah, of course he did. I'm going to walk down the hall and be like, hey, Mark, thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate the paychecks. I can't wait to leave. Because you know what happens then? That's expedited. And everybody here, if I came on the air one day and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, upstate South Carolina. I hate it here, and I can't wait till my contract's up so I can leave. Not great PR. Not a great move. So, of course, he's going to say that. It's just been everything else that Kyler has said and done that shows me he wants out. The question is, who wants him?
Well, with all the bad publicity he's getting, I mean, you're getting some baggage. And if you interview him, he'll be like, here's how they've treated me. I know if I get a fresh start, I'm not going to be treated that way. I should be, I'll be fine. I'll do everything for you. All that. He'll say all the right things. But there's only a couple teams who need a quarterback right now. And do they have the draft capital to trade for him or players to trade for him because of what they're going to be demanding? Or are they so ready to be done with him that they're willing to just, hey, give me a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper. He's yours.
So, Kyler Murray. Now, I don't have any complaints about Kyler Murray except for football ones, right? Dude is listed as 5'10", which means he goes 5'8.5".
He is very fast. The problem is when he gets hit, he's hurt for a while.
Yep. Missed, 3 games last year, 3, 4 the year before that.
And there's always going to be someone who's going to catch him and put a hit on him every single year.
He is undersized. He's listed as 5'10", which means he probably goes 5'8", 5'9". Missed 3 last year. He's got a cannon, but he's not a great pocket passer, which seems not good at the NFL. 3 seasons in, has not won a playoff game. Has been constantly criticized for a lack of maturity, lack of leadership in the locker room. And last year, once DeAndre Hopkins went down, he didn't really have anything else going, right? Like once coverage was justified because the big ball threat and DeAndre was down, he didn't really know what to do. The numbers came down, right? So I wonder if we are in a spot where that quarterback contract situation has kind of hit a bit of a stopping point. Because if you're another NFL team, hell, Carolina would be the first one that comes to mind, right?
Yeah, so you have the choices between Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield.
I'm taking Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I like
so am
Kyler,
I.
but I'm taking Baker Mayfield, right?
One thing Baker will do, he'll play through an injury.
Try to. Absolutely. Yeah. He guts it out. I absolutely take Baker. And I wonder if Kyler goes, all right, I want a bigger contract from Arizona. I'm watching Russ and Aaron and Deshaun and Matty Ice in Indy and Matt Stafford in LA. I'm watching them get all these deals that I don't have. And I want one. But I got to wonder, is there a team out there that looks at Kyler Murray, looks at his struggles, and goes, I'm in? Now, CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin put up an article about this. And he said that he believes that there are 10 potential landing spots in the NFL for Kyler Murray. Here's the list, he says. He said the Falcons would be willing to look into it with Matt Ryan being dumped for a 3rd-round pick. The Giants would be interested because Brian Daboll wants a dual-threat quarterback. The Steelers would be interested because Mitchell Trubisky. The Titans would be interested, although I don't believe that. Ryan Tannehill's good there. The Lions would be interested. Believe they'd be willing to cut him. The Jets, which I don't believe. I think they're in on Zach Wilson. The Texans, which I don't believe. I think they got money wrapped up around Davis Mills. Said the Saints, believing that Jameis on a 1-year contract may not be able to put up the numbers that Kyler does. I don't believe that. Said the Eagles, although they're committed to Jalen Hurts, and his number one spot on the list, the Carolina Panthers. Now, again, one thing quarterbacks are about to find out down the line is that teams are still going to pay based on results. Would you say, Lonzo, Aaron Rodgers has put up results in Green Bay to justify the contract he got?
Yes, I would say that he has.
Sure. Take all the off-the-field stuff away from it. Would you say Deshaun Watson has put on-the-field results that justify a contract?
Yes, in horrible situations.
Matt Stafford, coming off a Super Bowl.
Without a doubt, he's shown what he could do in a place where they actually have decent players.
The only one that you could make an argument has not. The only one you can make an argument has not will be Matt Ryan. But I have told you guys for a few years, and this is from a guy who hates the Falcons. The problem is not Matt Ryan, not Ryan. The problem is the Falcons organization as a whole that kept doing the same dumb things over and over.
Well, we're going to see with Matt Ryan, but is he so old that he can't prove himself now?
I wish this trade would have happened about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I agree.
Or maybe just his hair is white. It makes him look a lot older.
But the question here is, has Kyler Murray done anything like Aaron Rodgers has? Like Deshaun Watson has? Like Matt Stafford has? Right? The only one you can argue he has is Matt Ryan. And it's not like Matt Ryan got an earth-shaking contract, and he got a good one. At the end of the day, these guys getting paid, getting the bag, are still putting up results. They're still giving you results. Would you say Kyler Murray has? I'd say he's shown flashes of how good he could be. He's shown flashes of what he could mature into. But you take the lack of on-paper results and you pair it up with the constant stream of stories saying that he's immature, that he's not a leader, that he's a bit of a diva. And how does it work out? Quarterbacks are about to learn. You don't just get paid because that's what you are. You get paid because you are successful being that. And I think Kyler Murray, if he forces his way out of Arizona, is going to realize there's not a lot of teams that are going to be willing to give him a contract like he had at Arizona. For a guy that checks in at 5'8.5", is not an accurate pocket passer, and has not won a playoff game in 3 years. Good luck. Texter to the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307 said, Fan, Rob, are we past the point of money ruining sports? Should owners and GMs just refuse to pay over X amount for a player to bring the market back down? Good luck with that. First off, you would have to get all 32 owners / GMs to agree on that. That is literally collusion, which, while the NFL does have some freedoms to operate as a monopoly, they do not have freedom from, they do not have immunity from getting prosecuted for collusion. Can't do it. Second off, if you came up with that money, if you came up with that dollar sign and said, we're not going to pay a quarterback more than $20 million a year, and then Aaron Rodgers becomes available, 31 owners might agree to that. Lonzo, there's going to be a GM somewhere that goes, you know, if we get this guy, we're a Super Bowl threat. Hey, A-Rod of the football persuasion, $25 million a year. And they go. Yes, they are a unified front in terms of presenting football. They are also 32 franchises in direct competition with each other. This doesn't end until the fans go, no, I ain't paying this much anymore, right? Whether it's for tickets, whether it's for gear, whether it's, you split up the coverage to so many networks I got to pay for, I can't watch it anymore. Until the fans go, we aren't paying for this anymore, and stop watching so the TV contracts come down, this doesn't stop. Good luck. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo, this is the Fan Upstate. All right, let's see here. Josh said Georgia spring game had a decent turnout, but Bama, I watched a little, and there was like 40 people there. It was like raining. Yeah, I don't. Spring game attendance doesn't do anything for me. Like,
No, man. Alabama's going to suck.
I mean, they have 40 people show up. What do you expect out of them?
Right. It's logic.
Steven said, Zoe, next thing to try an upstate poll, spicy dill pickle maxed Chex Mix. So hot, so good. I mean, I'll try it. Sounds good. I like dill and spice, so I'm in. The defense looks stout per usual, but I hope Bryce Young can stay healthy. I said, well, I like Bryce. This is a fun guy to watch play. Tayshawn, welcome in, big fella. Good to have you, buddy. Appreciate you coming by as always. favorite picture I've ever taken in a band.
Very nice. Love the color of the drum kit, too. So I am told that the object of cornhole is not to get it in the hole.
No, the object of cornhole. All right, so if it goes in the hole, you get 3 points.
Also, you are trying to get okay. All right.
Up until you get close to 21, because you have to hit 21 on the nose.
Oh,
If
okay.
you go over, you go back to either 17 or wherever you were before that round started, depending on whose rules you're playing. It gets 3 if you go in the hole, 1 if you landed on the board, none if you missed the board. At the end of it, you're awarded points based on the cumulative score between you and the other team. So, like, if we're playing and I get 1 in the hole and you get 1 in the hole and that's it, neither of us gets a point because you scored 3, I scored 3, so it's a 0. If at the end of the round I threw 1 in the hole, you threw 1 in the hole, I land 1 on the board, and you do not, I got 4 points, you got 3, so I get 1 point.
All right. I get that.
It is first to 21. So if you are at 19 and you get 1 in the hole, you have busted. You go back to either 17 or 19, depending on the rules you play. But not on that round. So, like, if you're at 19 and you throw 1 and it goes through the hole, then even if it's your first bag, you've already busted. So your last 2 bags you can use to either play defense or you can just throw them away because it doesn't matter.
Okay. So even if you're playing teams,
If you're playing teams, which normally you do, you have 1 from each team on one side, 1 from each team on the other. And so Team A and B both have on one side, Team A and B on the other side. So 1 person from A and 1 person B throws this way. After that round, you do the score.
just like
and you do
horseshoes.
that way.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You gotta knock the glass down again.
I saw it wobble. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Was explaining to Lonzo the rules of cornhole, America's greatest game, during that break. Why was I explaining it to people, Lonzo?
Because I've never played it before.
And why else, Lonzo?
Well, supposedly, and we're going to see, I will be playing it Friday when we're live on location for the very first time.
Yes, indeed. On Friday, ya boys will be live at Hall of Fame Sports Grill. We go live at 9. Ordinarily, they open at 11, but they said people could come by and say hello. We'll be live at 9. We're on the air till noon. And then at noon, you know what? I may have them set us up somewhere, Zoe, so that we can play cornhole live on the air, right? We'll throw the headsets on. We'll play, and we'll play-by-play our own cornhole match on the air.
I'm wondering if that is technologically possible, but
Sure it is. We got headsets.
yeah, true. But okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm going to see if they'll set us up somewhere we can play cornhole on the air, call play-by-play of our own game, which means I will have the worst game of my life, but it'll be interesting. It'll be entertaining. Anyway, we'll be live at Hall of Fame Sports Grill from, well, we're on the air 9 to noon. But then at noon, Lonzo and I are going to take the cans off and hang out for a little while. Come on by. Come say hi. Love to see you guys, especially those of you that are in the new time slot. New listeners in the 9 to noon time slot that I have not gotten the chance to interact with yet. Plan on coming by Friday morning.
Let's have a Rob Brown Show table. Let's have one table just for
us?
just for our guys and girls who listen to the show. And
I have literally been texting with Alice, the GM who runs the place, who's a friend of mine. I am now going to send her a message when we get off the air that says, hey, by the way, can you just reserve a table for me and my listeners? Everybody else, all the other stations, all the other shows, y'all may frolic amongst each other, but the Rob Brown Show will get its own VIP table to hang out at. So come on by, have lunch. Come grab a midday brewski with me. Come grab a midday ginger ale with Lonzo.
I don't drink ginger ale. It's kind of nasty. But Yeah, ginger ale it's kind of nasty.
It is not.
Yeah, it is kind of nasty. There's a certain kind that I've had before that's actually pretty good, and I think it might be made locally. I'll have to ask Chris Evans about it because he brought it, and it's got kind of a spicy kick to it, which I kind of liked. It may have something to do with shotgunning a ginger ale, and it came out my nose, and so ever since then, the taste of it's not good for me. It's like if you ate somewhere and you got food poisoning. You never want to eat there again, because always in the back of your mind, this place made you sick. Ginger ale, it hurts when it comes out your nose. That's all I'm saying.
Lonzo having flashbacks. It's just easier to shotgun a beer.
So if you want to witness a first, you can come by and see me play for the very first time.
That's right.
Cornhole.
That's right.
I have never, this is not a radio thing. I have never played it before. I played horseshoes a ton growing up. Didn't know cornhole existed till I moved to South Carolina. Have never been in a position, and I have no friends. So never been in a position to actually, play cornhole. So there's that.
Now he has one friend, and that friend will teach him how to play cornhole on Friday. Come on by. We're going to be live at Hall of Fame Sports Grill, Wade Hampton Road, right there in Greenville. Close to downtown, so are you downtown folks? Come on by. Come spend a few hours with us. You can come by at 9, hang out, listen to the show. You can come by at noon, hang out with us after we're off the air, play a little cornhole, have some chicken wings. I am literally offering you the best Friday you have had in years. You'd be a fool not to show up. And you get to hang out with Lonzo. Like it gets any better.
So, and if you need, we can fill out an excuse for you for your boss.
Like a field trip permission slip
Yeah,
from
we'll,
back in the day.
we'll do that for you because
Yeah.
we want you there. So we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll sign off. Bring some paperwork that says, please excuse blank from all work-related activities on Friday, April, what day is that, 22nd?
Yes.
As he will be on a field trip to get to know the host and executive producer of South Carolina's finest sports talk radio broadcast. You're welcome in advance. Bring the paperwork. Lonzo will sign off on it. He is the executive producer. He has all the privileges that come with that title, of which there are many.
It's called stroke, yo.
That's right. Friday, Hall of Fame, Wade Hampton Boulevard in Greenville. Love to see you. Come by, say hi, grab some wings, grab a beer, hang out, play some cornhole. It's going to be a good time. You know what else they got? They got the little ring game. You know, the ring on a string, and then you got to throw it and hook it on a hook on the wall. I'm a master at that. A wizard at that.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Oh man.
I mean, I've seen it. So it sounds like a carnival game, and
Kind of.
okay.
There's a hook that hangs on a wall, and then halfway between you and that hook is a little metal ring on a string, and you stand on the other side of it and you swing it and try to get it to hook on the wall. It's one of those things that in explanation, it's like, wow, that sounds dumb.
It's a physics game.
Yeah, it's all about angles and velocity, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blast. Come on by, try your hand, see if you can beat me. Texter said, fan, missed opportunity to say Dan will not be at work today, and it's okay because Rob Brown said so. That's correct. I give you all permission. Yeah, and you can just take a half day if you want, Back on out of the office at noon. Tell the boss you're taking a half day for personal reasons. Come hang out at Hall of Fame with me and Zoe. Be a good time. That's going to be Friday from 9 until I decide I'm ready to go home, which at Hall of Fame Sports Grill is usually about the time they turn the lights on.
Well, you'll probably get me for an hour. So, I mean, I got to be honest there. About an hour, maybe.
I don't know, man. You might be a cornhole enthusiast when we're all said and done.
I could be a cornhole shark.
Yeah. You might be a whiz. You might be a natural.
Might make some side scratch. I
Yeah.
might be in for that.
Like me when we went to curling. You just find out you're a natural. Now it's all you want to do. I'm a natural at curling. Now it's all I want to do. All right. Texter says, let's see. Actually, we got 2 texts about Kyler Murray. Fan, Rob, as a Falcons fan, I would rather have Mayfield over Mariota and Murray. And fan, as a Steelers fan, I'm completely fine keeping Mitch and giving him a chance rather than trading for Kyler Murray. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you this, though. If Kyler Murray came with the money tag that Mitchell Trubisky came with, I'd take him, right? If he came with Mitch Trubisky's contract, I'd take him. But he's not going to. That's literally the reason he wants out of Arizona. He wants A-Rod money, and nobody wants to pay him more than Mitchell Trubisky money, which, by the way, is totally understandable.
I'm just if he was 6 inches taller, would the attitude be kind of an afterthought? So is his height and durability the bigger problem, or is it the attitude, or is it just a combination of both?
I saw a video yesterday. I'm gonna analogize it to something else.
Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday, and we've talked about two stories like this in the past week. Drake, the R&B / hip hop artist.
He's from Canada, I believe.
So there's a video that came out of Drake leaving a restaurant in a city somewhere. Doesn't matter. And Drake has like a 5-car entourage, right? Like he's in a really, really nice Cadillac. And then he's got like 3 Escalades following him full of security. And they're pulling out of this restaurant parking lot into traffic, which if you are a normal person, you use what's called the zipper method. You've all heard of the zipper method, right? Car on the street goes, car behind them lets out a car in the parking lot. After the car in the parking lot goes, the car on the street goes, then the parking lot, then the car, then the street, then the parking lot, then the street, and you go.
So that's the lame thing that causes all the backups in South Carolina.
No. That prevents backups, because what happens is if you go zipper method, it's still a consistent flow forward, as opposed to when the guy in the parking lot wedges out and then the guy after him's on his bumper and the guy after him's on his bumper, and now you backed up the road, blah, blah, blah. Point is,
I need you to come out and direct the idiots trying to get out on Garlington Road then for me when I try to leave.
Zipper method, people. Zipper method. Let one out, you go. Next one out, then you go. Anyway, there's a video of Drake's entourage leaving a restaurant or something, and Drake's car pulls out, and then because zipper method, the car on the street pulls in after Drake's car. Well, the guy driving the security tank behind Drake was not thrilled, so he tries to wedge himself between that car and Drake's car, and the guy in the street's like, "No, dog, I'm already here," and he holds up. Well, then one of the guys from the security detail gets out, stands in the middle of the road, walks up and gets on this guy's bumper and goes, "Stop, we need to get out." And the guy's like, "Yo, I got the right of way. It's not how this works." The guy's like, "No, this is how it works. We need to be behind that car." "No, I have the right of way. You can pull in behind me and catch up down the road." And I thought to myself, if this is anybody but Drake, the cops are called to that guy for disrupting traffic, right? If Lonzo and I went to a concert at the Well and we were leaving and Zoe got out of the car and just stood in front of traffic to let me out, he'd be a hell of an executive producer. He'd also be going to jail for obstruction of traffic.
All right, I'm offended because even though, you're recently getting big at the Well, this is me. You be getting out and stopping the car for me. Do you know who I am?
I've heard that before. So the point is, you get away with stuff when you're really talented, and more importantly, when you're rich. The analogy here is that if Kyler Murray was 6'6", but with his talent, yeah, he'd have more wiggle room to talk. But being 5'9" really inhibits your ability to play quarterback unless you've got Drew Brees talent. Anybody think Kyler Murray's got Drew Brees talent? Not yet. Not yet. But it doesn't matter the reasons why the situation with Kyler is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, if I was a Falcons or Steelers fan, hell, I'm a Saints fan. That random dude we just reported from CBS said, "Oh yeah, Saints are a landing spot." No, they're not. No, they're not. Sean Payton was there maybe, but he's not. He's doing it to himself. The problem is you got to wonder, how does this impact quarterback contracts for guys like him moving forward? Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll clean up hour number 2. I got some more thoughts on the South Carolina spring game after a second rewatch of it. Keegan said, so you're saying the bar is open at 9 a.m. They've really nailed your personality type, Rob. Hey, mimosas are amazing. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
So I figured out how to transfer my YouTube page to my work Google account yesterday, so I can start putting Upstate Pulse on YouTube also, which I've been trying to do. It is so convoluted and complicated. Chris was in there trying to help me too. He couldn't figure it out. Then I figured it out. Then I sent permissions for myself and for Tim, and then we couldn't figure out why, because it doesn't send an email out telling you, hey, you got permissions. Yeah. And for Tim to also be able to put stuff on the YouTube channel. And then it was a pain in the butt to go and find that to accept the invitation. It just, I don't know why it has to be as complicated as it is, which is why I couldn't do it before, but I had some time yesterday. And I might today, if I have time, work on a Twitch channel for that show. then after I do it, I should be able to help you do one for this show if we're still going to try that. Because I'm still curious about what the actual Twitch audience is. Because for me, I always thought it was just gamers, but apparently it's expanded and Twitch has a lot more people.
Saturday mornings before I do my show, I've been watching other dudes do similar shows on Twitch. Like they're just broadcast. Some of them are good, like really well put together.
Well, I know DA, their show's on Twitch. So if a national show's on Twitch. And with as much gaming as I actually do, I should start doing a little bit more online just because. QC Kinetics in the next break, which should be pretty quick.
Deal.
Yay.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. I was about to say I'm Ronzo and he's Lob. Wow.
Me lob.
The struggle is quite real today, ladies and gentlemen. Ronzo would be our celebrity couple name.
No, you didn't. No.
It's Ronzo.
What are you doing?
The other option is Lob. I'm going to take Ronzo. Thanks for joining us. Next hour of the show, going to be busy. We have got some more thoughts from the South Carolina spring game. I will open up the next hour with that. We've got our first PGA Tour professional who has asked for an exemption from the tour to play on that Saudi breakaway league. We're going to tell you who it is. It's a name you have probably not heard of, I am guessing. So, does that mean this league has a chance? We'll talk about that. 2 more Gamecocks have entered the transfer portal, and it's not a bad thing. I'm going to tell you why coming up in just a little while. We haven't even touched the Bristol race from Saturday night. Kyle Busch got his first win. We can break that game down. And my favorite story, and one that I've been looking forward to talking about for a while, the NFL is investigating the Cleveland Browns. No, it's not for Deshaun Watson. They are investigating the Cleveland Browns for allegations, Lonzo, of tanking. Yeah, just let that simmer for a second. The NFL is investigating the Cleveland Browns for tanking. Imagine being an NFL fan, having your team be that bad for that long, and then have to deal with the fact that you are so bad the NFL thinks you might have done it on purpose. All that more coming up in the next hour of the show. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. We are Ronzo. We are the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. Joint pain is real, and if you suffer from it, you know how much it doesn't just impact whatever it is you're doing when it flares up, but it impacts your decision-making. It impacts your life and the way you want to live it, and that's why you need to call my friends at QC Kinetics if you are dealing with joint pain, because with enough of it, you're going to get told by somebody, oh, we got to replace that fill-in with joint of pain here. That knee, we got to fuse the lower back. We got to do this. We got to do that. Well, before you agree to get sliced and diced and cut open, I want you to call my friends at QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. I want you to mention the Rob Brown Show, and I want you to get a consultation with my friends at QC Kinetics for free, and let them tell you how their non-surgical regenerative therapy can help you. That is right. They can help your body heal, restore, regenerate that connective tissue inside of your joints so that the inflammation goes down, the swelling goes down, and the pain goes away. And you can go back to doing the things you want to do, the way you want to do them, without worrying about them, like you used to could. 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get your first consultation for free, or give them a call at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. It's our friends at QC Kinetics. I've been told I type violently.
You do? You also have an angry look on your face when you type. So there's that.
Focus.
It's almost like it hurts. Oh, well. Oh, well. Math is so hard.
Where is Woodruff?
The town of Woodruff?
Yes.
Close to Spartanburg, sort of. Do you remember when, of course you remember when you guys came and got me for AEW?
Yeah.
When we went through Gray Court and
Yep.
then we got on the road, which was still 101,
Yep.
and we turned off to go to get on 385.
Yes.
If we stayed on that road,
Take a minute.
10 more minutes down that way, we would have been in Woodruff.
Okay.
But everything's kind of, you think it's one direction, it's all turned around. So Why are you going
Because I'm
to?
asking, well, I've been informed that there's a DMV office there that nobody ever goes to, and I'm wondering if
Well, you could also go to there's one in Fountain Inn. There's one, Fountain Inn, it's like 15 minutes that way on 385. It's not too hard to get to. So there are
I'm trying
some,
to think if like with the concept of waiting for an hour in the DMV in Greer, but it's also 6 minutes from my house.
well, I guess the one, it's Simpsonville. It's not Fountain Inn. Well, no, it's like in between Simpsonville and Fountain Inn. That's the one I usually go to, and it's usually not that crowded. Except if he pulls out of the studio, Steven, and he turns left, he's turning left on Garlington because the studio's not like right on Woodruff Road. So he would end up at Pelham.
Get the breaking news sounder if you don't mind. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by our friends at BetQL. BetQL gets smarter, be a better, beat the books. Good bet start with BetQL, of course, the home for the best Saturday baseball gambling show you've ever heard. The nationally syndicated Bet the Cycle with Cody Decker comes your way every single Saturday from 1 to 5 Eastern. And also I'm there.
Yeah. You forgot the star of the show.
No, I didn't. Cody's there.
Yeah, Rob Brown, the star of the show.
You ever been on the air, Lonzo? This has only happened to me once, and it's that show. You ever been on the air with somebody who most definitely is better at their job than you, and you know it?
Well, some would say every single day of my entire life, yes.
Well, Vince is good, but
He is pretty good, yeah.
Cody is a sponge for baseball stuff, right? Like I remember week 1, we were talking, I don't remember exactly what game we were breaking down, but we were talking about one particular game, and we were talking about an over-under run line that we liked. And we were talking about the pitchers. And he's like, oh, yeah, this guy went to this high school, and then he played college ball here, and while he was in college, he threw X percentage of fastballs, and then when he got to the show, that percentage dropped down to this, but now he's a changeup guy off speed, but he likes to throw inside, and this other team has a 170 batting average against pitches thrown inside. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Where do you even find that? Anyway, 1 to 5 this Saturday, Bet the Cycle. With me, Rob Brown, and my co-host Cody Decker comes your way on the BetQL Network, which you can find on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Grab it, put it on your digital devices. And if you want to make a little money on Saturdays, tune in to Bet the Cycle with Rob and Cody.
All right, Lee Rogers from the 106.3 WRD News Center just sent us this. The Panthers have terminated their agreement with Rock Hill for their new South Carolina headquarters.
LOL. Literally what I was about to do with breaking news.
Okay, well
done. No, that just shows we're in sync, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing what happens when your producer and host like each other. You get greatness. The
of course,
Panthers,
if we would have communicated ahead of time, we would. Yeah, there could have been. There could have been that.
Sometimes the important stuff is what you don't say, Lonzo.
All right, really, I just wanted to hit the glass again.
I don't blame you. It's a good sound. According to WSOC TV, the #1 local news station in Charlotte, according to their Twitter bio. Sure, I'll run with it. They are reporting that the Carolina Panthers have sent notices to Rock Hill to formally terminate the previous agreements on the practice facility and headquarters, meaning that the deal is off. The Charlotte Panthers HQ will no longer be featured in Rock Hill, which is kind of interesting, Lonzo, because the facility construction is like well underway. Have you seen the pictures of it?
Yes, I have.
It's well underway. Like I saw on Reddit when this, remember we broke this story for you a handful of days ago that we said that Tepper was playing hardball with the state and Rock Hill. And I saw somebody either tweet or make a post on Reddit that was like, well, you know, right now we weren't even sure he was falling through. It's really just a bunch of steel beams in the ground. No, it's not. It's not. I'd say what, Zoe? It's about 60% of a building at this point.
I think it's so far along that you could actually look at it and go, that's a building.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's got a roof and floors. It looked like pretty much all they had to do was finish about a 20-foot section of roof and then put some walls on it, and it was ready to roll. Anyway, David Tepper's LLC, according to WSOC TV out of Charlotte, released a statement after pausing construction on the team's practice facility in Rock Hill, saying it has sent notices to the city of Rock Hill to formally terminate its previous agreements. Channel 9 reported the Panthers owners LLC, GT Real Estate Holdings, invested more than $170 million into the development. The contract for the project was between the city of Rock Hill and GT Real Estate Holdings. Tepper Sports and Entertainment paused construction in early March, saying the city of Rock Hill failed to get the finances to pay for public infrastructure. They released a statement that said, quote, on February 26th, hey, my birthday, the city of Rock Hill became delinquent on their obligation to fund the public infrastructure. Despite our persistent efforts throughout 2021, the city of Rock Hill failed to issue the bonds or provide the funding for the public infrastructure on the project. On March 18th, GTRE issued a default notice, and the city did not cure its default within the prescribed 30-day cure period. It is unfortunate that some recently decided to conduct a misguided, destructive public relations campaign to obscure their failures. We have sent notices to the city to formally terminate the previous agreements. Accordingly, we are prepared to sit down with the city and other interested parties to discuss the significant challenges ahead, end quote. Look, the only reason I'm really interested in this is twofold. Number one, this shows that when David Tepper wants a new stadium, and a lot of us believe that will be in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Now, I've been to BOA in the past. I have not been for a Panthers game. I was there a number of years ago for a soccer match. It's not a bad stadium. It's not that far out of date or out of shape. But you know, NFL owners want what? They want new, they want shiny, they want expensive. They want a mecca that is going to bring people out to get them to spend money at their place. At some point, I believe in the next half to end of decade, David Tepper's going to want a new stadium. And based on the deal worked out with Rock Hill, I suspect that he is going to be one of the owners that asked for like a ton of money from the public to do it. Now, there has been a swing in the past couple of years, and I'll tell you where I credit this. We have talked about television ratings over the years, and that sports television viewership has declined amongst younger generations. Lonzo and I were having kind of a conversation that goes in this direction during the last break. We were talking about Twitch, right? Me and Cody's show on Saturday streams on Twitch. It used to be Twitch was just a platform where people would get on and stream themselves playing video games. Now, Twitch is like a bona fide broadcasting outlet, right? Like Twitch has a lot of really good shows that people watch. I do a lot of show prep for my gambling show by watching other people's gambling shows on Twitch. Young people have such a cornucopia of entertainment opportunities available to them that, hey, football's on is not the draw that it used to be. Going to football games may not be as in vogue as it used to be. And in a place like Charlotte, and I say this with all due respect, from what I understand and from what I have seen, Carolina Panthers fans are what I call a wine and cheese crowd, right? Panthers fans are not there for Panthers football. They are there for the social aspect of going to an NFL game on a Sunday afternoon to see and be seen.
See, I don't get that because but the only NFL games I've ever been to have been Panthers games. I see people passionate for the game. I see people wearing jerseys, cheering, booing, all the kind of stuff. So I guess I don't have anything to compare it to. You make it sound, and other people make it sound like they're there just to be seen and they're uninterested in what's going on the field, and that's just not true, at least not in my experience. And I have said in a bunch of different places around the stadium, including the very top.
I have been to Atlanta, the old stadium, the old Georgia Dome. I've been to Tampa. I've been to New Orleans. I've been to, where else have I gone in the NFL? I think that might be it. Nope. I went to the old Dallas Stadium. Been to them all. Now, in fairness for this discussion, despite living here 2 seasons, I have yet to be at a Panthers game in Charlotte. So my judgment is being made based on television appearances, which
let us make a pact that you and I will find a way to go to a game this season.
Well, keep in mind, I couldn't go this year because I was doing a show on Sundays for Carolina. That's one.
Which we don't know what next year will hold. So, yeah.
If I'm doing a show, I probably can't make it. If I'm not, absolutely, we will go to a game. And even if we are, I may have somebody fill in one day so I can go. Saints play at the Panthers. I don't know why I have not gone to that the last 2 seasons. Well, 2 seasons ago, we didn't have fans, but you get the point. Anyway, from what I have seen on television, both before and since I moved here, and from talking to people like Rashad Beard, who will rejoin the show this Thursday, Rashad came. I remember. Let's go back to that Philly game. Remember after the week after the Philly game this past season, Lonzo, we had Rashad on, and Rashad, who is a Panthers optimist, right? Like he's a big guy. He's a big fan. He came on and told us what the Philly fans were louder than the Panthers fans. He said it might as well have been a game in Philly. Because I asked him, I said, look, on TV, it sounded like when the Panthers had the ball that I could hear some audible defense chants. Were the Phillies fans that loud? And he said, well, they were, but the Panthers fans were that quiet. It was a Philly home game, effectively. The only way that kind of stuff works in is if your audience is bought in. And I just don't know that Panthers fans are. Now, it's understandable.
Was that the kind of team that you're going to cheer really loudly for last year?
Bingo. It's understandable because the team's not that good. And the team does not have decades and decades of established history like the Cleveland sucks, but they got, yes, but it's Cleveland. It's all they have. They have the Browns, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Drew Carey. That's it. That's what Cleveland's got.
Well, they have the Cavs every once in a while when LeBron plays there.
And the Guardians. Whoa! Whoa! But they got decades of history wrapped up in that, right? I think you made the point. They got decades of history wrapped up in the Cavs. They got decades of history wrapped up in the Guardians. And they got decades of history. Carolina doesn't have decades of history. I mean, they do a couple, but not like Cleveland does with their terrible teams, right? Field a good team. If you're filling up BOA with 80K every single week, getting public money isn't as much of an endeavor at that point, right? But Tepper played hardball with Rock Hill. He wanted Rock Hill and de facto the state to pay a significant chunk of the cost associated with building HQ in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Under the premise of we're going to build a whole, entertainment complex around it that will get people wanting to come to Rock Hill.
Does this mean it's no longer 2 states, 1 team?
I mean, it would have gone a long way till proving that to have the HQ in South Carolina, and now they don't, right? Now they don't. So the point that I'm making and why we keep reporting on this story, the reason I'm reporting on this story to me, in my opinion, is very simply because at some point, TEP is going to want a new stadium to replace BOA. And very clearly, billionaire David Tepper is going to want the taxpayers of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina to foot a chunk of the bill. And if you do not do it the way that he wants you to do it, he is going to threaten to pull the team. Watch. Watch. He's going to want big public money, even though he's a billionaire. He's going to want massive cash. And if Charlotte and North Carolina won't give it to him, he's going to pull the team and they will no longer be the Carolina Panthers. Because there are other cities that want an NFL team. And some of them may come up with that money. Texter says, Rob, it's a matter of time, not if. When Tepper moves the Panthers out of the Carolinas, when that happens, I'm done with the NFL. Now I wonder, when after Katrina, when there was discussion that the late Tom Benson was considering moving the Saints out of New Orleans to San Antonio or Oklahoma City, I wondered, can I still be an NFL fan, right? I won't have a team because I will not follow them. They will not be my team anymore. Can I still be a fan? I don't know how to answer. I don't know that I could have answered that. I think that if Tepper plays hardball, hardball with Charlotte, and they do not give him the public funding that he wants to build a stadium, you poor billionaire, you. They don't give him that cash. He may pull your team. And if he pulls the team, I'm not going to say NFL football is dead in the Carolinas, but it is what it is. Rob, Panthers have never had a back-to-back winning season in their existence. If the Panthers want a consistent sold-out crowd, they need to put out a consistent team. Your text got cut off, but I think that's the direction you were going. But I think you're spot on. Part of the thing, it's one of those things that, I wouldn't want to sit down and go toe-to-toe talking business with David Tepper because I'm an idiot and he's a billionaire. I wouldn't say he's smarter than me, but I would say in that world he's got the edge, right? I don't own an NFL franchise yet. But I would tell David Tepper, hey, would you like to make sure that the public, to some degree, gets behind your requests for public money? Then give them a good product, right? Give them a good product. Do you know why there is a veritable arms race between cell phone dealers, right? It's like every year we get 19 new cell phone models, and every year they've got some brand new, holy crap, what kind of Star Trek technology added is this? Do you know why? It is because cell phone companies want to be able to keep charging us $800, $900, $1,000 for a phone. But if you put out a new phone and it's got all the same features as last year's phone, I got no reason to give you $1,000 for it. Why would I? Tap. Put out a good team, right? How much easier is this discussion for Rock Hill? How much easier is the future discussion of a new stadium for Charlotte if the Panthers are a consistent 12, 13, 14 win team with a Super Bowl ring or 3 in the last 2 decades? Probably a little more justifiable to put some tax money into that. But why would I keep throwing money into a hole for a team that's going to give me 5, 6 wins a year and do nothing about it? Come on, Tep. Texter says, what other U.S. cities would be candidates for a relocated Panthers team? Oakland, would want a team. St. Louis would want a team. Do not forget that Roger Goodell is looking to have a full-time franchise abroad. London would be on that list. Mexico City would be on that list. Omaha, Nebraska would be on that list. Toronto, Canada would be on that list. San Diego wants a team back. Memphis is clamoring to add another professional team to their ranks. Orlando has wanted an NFL team for years, and with the addition of the Raiders to Las Vegas being a success, putting an NFL team in an entertainment capital of the U.S. would work fine. Portland wants a team to grow on their MLS success. San Antonio, although Texas cities would be blockaded by Jerry Jones, San Antonio tried to get the Saints. Point is, there are options. And all Tepper needs is one of those cities to go, hey, we'll give you $250 million to put towards a new stadium. I don't know, man. I just feel like this is a canary in a coal mine, as the saying goes. Let's take a break. When we come back, I got some more thoughts on the South Carolina spring game to share with you. Panthers fans, are you concerned? Are you worried that this team is gone? And would you care? Right? Mark asked on his show the other day, what do you think has the larger fan base here in the upstate? The Atlanta Braves or the Carolina Panthers? And the Braves won overwhelmingly. If the Panthers leave, would people care? Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
So, a world champion baseball team compared to a football team.
I mean, it's still baseball to the NFL. Even if it is was the best team in baseball.
I just think that's, you know what the answer is before you put it out there. And it almost seems like it's just a way to slam the Panthers.
I did?
No, I'm talking about when you
gotcha.
put that together.
Yeah.
That's just. The more apt comparison would have been the Falcons to the Panthers, but then the answer would have been the Panthers. So you don't get the result that you want. And when I say you, I don't mean you, I mean in general. Time to go to the restaurant.
Icelandic jazz going emo?
Unless someone changed it, it's still Icelandic jazz. It's jazz for sure. But someone turned it up. So I just thought that you went in and changed it to something else. So shout out to whoever enjoyed the music so much that they turned it up or just turned it up to make it difficult for the next person that goes in there. When the rockers down the hall hear Icelandic jazz, what does it do to them? We need a psychological study.
I just got a DM from one of our listeners, Brandon, who said that he and his 9-year-old daughter listen to the show every day, and they're coming to the soccer match tomorrow because she wants to meet, quote, the most entertaining sports talk radio host in the world, end quote.
All right, cool for you.
Love it. I love it.
Don't forget about the interview we set up tomorrow at 9:30. Just a
Yes.
reminder.
Yes.
Your vacant look means you forgot.
No, I didn't. I just can't remember his last name.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
Pologic, right?
No, it's not. It's close. It's close.
Almost said apologetic, but I'm pretty sure that's not it.
That's closer to it than what you did.
Pologic? No.
Oh, that's what you just said a second ago. You're close. Now, see, you're saying it the way you would say alarm. If you say it the way it's supposed to be said.
That my brain just went, I don't know how to do this.
I would sing the song Doe a Deer, a Female Deer.
That doesn't help me at all. Pologic?
Pelagic.
Pelagic.
You know, there's a law in the
Got it.
I'll remind
I'm
you.
gonna write it down on a sticky pad.
Yeah, that's not going to help. I'll remind you
Pronunciation
tomorrow.
guide.
You can just call him Willie P.
I need to go back to the main thread and see if there's any more phallic text going in to throw Vince off his game.
Vince is too velvety smooth to fall for that.
Tomorrow on the show, big day. Can't wait. At 9:30, we'll be joined by Will Pelagic. Nailed it!
Today you did. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, right. He is part of the radio broadcast crew for Charlotte FC. He's going to join us to break down the Triumph v. Charlotte FC match tomorrow at Legacy Early College. Then at 10:30, we'll be joined by Chris Lewis and Doug Irwin. They are the president and CBO of the Greenville Triumph, respectively. And I want to have that conversation. That one will be less about the match itself and more about the impact. More about the impact, what this match means to us as a community from the perspective of the team that's hosting it. I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. So make sure you're here tomorrow. Very excited about that. Had a few more thoughts about the spring game of the South Carolina Gamecocks. Rewatched it again yesterday afternoon. I tend to, when I have games like this, because again, I care primarily, I shouldn't even say primarily, exclusively about what happens on the field, right? I care about what happens on the field. And to me, we can get more out of what's happening on the field in the spring than we can by even just watching practices, right? Like, I've watched a lot of practice footage from Clemson and South Carolina, and you can get some hints, right? We could see that Marshawn Lloyd is cutting better than I expected him to coming off a wheel surgery. You can see wide receiver running routes. We can see all that, and that's all great. But until you see it in game action, it doesn't really matter that much. You see it in spring game, and even though it's limited, even though it's usually vanilla, as Coach Beamer pointed out during the game itself, man, we're not going to show you all the cards. We're on TV. But it is the first true live action we get to see. If you tuned in to, like, if you got your hands on scrimmage film, might help you a little bit. But even scrimmage, right? Even scrimmages, it's a little bit limited. They're not going to go full tilt all the time. A lot of scrimmages aren't even full contact. Spring game, you're going to get your first eyes on what actual football looks like. So I got a few more thoughts because I rewatched it again last night. Number one, Spencer Rattler. We talked about him a little bit yesterday and what we saw out of that guy. Look good. Look good. Spencer Rattler is the starter. He is the starter. And there were a couple of passes that caught my attention. It caught my attention on the first watch, but when I do my second and third walkthrough, and I'll probably do, last year I did a couple of videos I called Film Room with Rob, where I actually went and put game film up on screen and broke it down with you. And I'll probably do that again about the spring game because I can and I want to. But there was one throw in particular that after rewatching it, it really impressed me. He had Antoine Wells running down the sideline, and Spencer dropped a dime on him. An absolute dime. Throwing off the back foot, right? Not a full plant, but throwing off the back foot, kind of falling backwards. He put an absolute laser on the sideline and dropped it in just the narrowest of margins. I mean, he had inches to play with and dropped it on the dime. Now, what I'm not going to do is be a reactionary guy. Oh, that's the best throw in Gamecock history. Hey, let's relax. But it was really good. It was a good throw. It was accurate. The timing was there, and he did it off the back foot while backing up. And remember, Spencer Rattler did not have Josh Vann, Amarian Brown, or Dakereon Joyner on his side. He had Antoine Wells. By the way, a transfer, right? A transfer. So I'm curious to see how this plays out from the transfer QB. Because that throw showed me he's got touch. He's still got touch. And he did it. He developed that and developed that chemistry with Wells. On the fly. He had spring. That's the first time they worked together. And he did it against an honest, justified coverage. Played with the starting O-line, sure, but without the guys that were expected to be the top 2 or 3 wide receivers on the list. Corey Rucker and Austin Stogner have not joined the team yet. That was effectively the backup wide receiver unit, and Spencer Rattler was throwing the ball exceptionally well with them. The second thing that I want to keep an eye on is there were a few plays that were blown dead where Rattler got out of the pocket, right? And Lonzo pointed out yesterday, Rattler might have the best legs ever for a South Carolina quarterback, right? The most escapability ever for a quarterback in Garnet and Black. And we did not get to see that on display in the spring game. Well, I mean, we got to see him get out of the pocket. We got to see him take off running, but we did not get to see what the conclusion of a run would look like for Spencer Rattler, how running backy he would get. He had the green no contact jersey on. He'd get outside. As soon as somebody got close, Shane Beamer would blow the down whistle. What's that going to do? What's that guy going to do with Yak? What's he going to do when he gets outside and it is one-on-one with the linebacker where Shane blew it dead, but we're in live action? Now, the second thing in the quarterback room was Luke Doty. Lonzo, if I told you that Luke Doty was coming off of an injury that limited him to, 4 games last year? Based on what we saw in spring. I don't know that I believe that claim.
It looked good, looked mobile, as we talked about yesterday, if you didn't know, you'd be hard-pressed to go, that's the starter or that's the starter. Looked really, really good.
The only reason Rattler's the guy to me is that Doty is very methodical, right? He's very methodical. He's very pick you apart based on progressions, quick out. There's not a lot of improv. There's not a lot of, okay, that's there. Let this develop. It's, okay, snap, A, B, C, C, B, A. There's my guy, throw it. Whereas Rattler, I think there's a little less formulaic effort. And I think there's a little bit more, all right, I see that guy shifting over, which means that on the backside, this could happen. Let me make that play. I thought Chad Terrell, we talked about him very briefly yesterday. I think worked very well for a guy that's had a lot of health issues if he can stay healthy. I thought defensive back BJ Gibson looked good. 2 seasons at the Naval Academy before he walked on to South Carolina last fall. Probably a dime guy, right? Probably going to fit in on some deeper, obvious passing scenarios. But was quick all over the field. Was putting himself in spots that would end plays. I thought he's a name to keep an eye on. One place that South Carolina last year, I thought got themselves into trouble, specifically in that Clemson game at the end of the year, was the defensive line. Now, spring games are very, 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 very difficult to get a good read on defensive lines. Very difficult to get a good read on defensive lines because whenever they get close to blowing up a play, they stop the play. We don't get to see what the follow-through looks like. But the starting D-line had Spencer Rattler dead to rights a couple of times. They had Spencer in the crosshairs a few times before the whistle blew. A handful of times before Rattler really even settled into the pocket, he was already covered up. I don't know what this D-line's going to look like against top-tier SEC competition, but I know they showed the flashes in the spring game, and that's what you're looking for, right? I'm not looking for anybody to go out and change Heisman odds in a spring game. What I'm looking for is show me the flashes, show me that the formula, the fundamentals that you put into place during spring practice is there. And I thought they did that across the defensive line. Go back and watch DL. Go back and watch DL. And watch what they did in that spring game. I think you're going to be impressed. A whiny texter says, so we get 2 days of Gamecock spring game breakdown and a very small segment of Clemson spring game SMH. We've done 2 segments of South Carolina spring game, 2 total. We did 3 segments of Clemson spring game.
Plenty of other places you can get all that you want. Nothing but Clemson all the time. Plenty of that.
Yeah. I'm not trying to drive you away. I'm just saying if
You're never going to be satisfied.
Yeah. If you are here so you get more Clemson football, you're going to get plenty of Clemson football, but it's not all we talk about. Your spring game was last weekend. We talked about it quite extensively. And, by the way, we did not give you flaming, scorching hot takes about your team. I gave you an honest breakdown of the football game. That's what I do, right? If you want a bunch of reactionary stuff about your team, I'm not the guy. If you want 3 hours of your team, I'm not the guy. If you want actual football analysis, right? I'm talking about the X's and the O's, the game itself, the mechanics. I am your guy. I have done more Clemson spring game than I've done South Carolina spring game. You just hear, he talks South Carolina, he bad. That's too bad, man. That's too bad. All right, let me take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. Got a few more thoughts for you. Twitter trending topics to wrap the whole thing up. My name is Rob. That's Lonzo. You're listening to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association's Every Sport Sports Talk Show Radio of the Year. This is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Try to think. What is the most obnoxious music I can come up with to put on there?
Baby Shark Channel.
Second most obnoxious music I could come up with. And I decided to play Cirque du Soleil music. Some of it's really good. Some of it's obnoxious. So I said, play music by Cirque du Soleil. And she went, okay. And she started with Aronica Flow by Enya. And I'm like, oh, this will drive me up a wall. Let's go.
Hey, it's on my Spotify. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
Sail away, sail away, sail away. So is mine, but it's by Fireaway Stream, Celtic Woman, who I love.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Love Celtic Woman.
I thought it was Celtic Women.
I love all of them.
Okay, I didn't know if it was two separate things.
Specifically, I love May Reed, the violin player.
Okay.
Love May Reed. Sail away, sail away, sail away.
When that pops in your head, listener, blame Rob for it.
I accept it. I accept it. The only thing worse than a song that's stuck in your head is a song that's stuck in your head that you don't actually know the words to. You just know like a little piece of it.
Yeah,
So you just keep repeating that piece over and over.
I know quite a bit of that song, but I'm not singing it.
I don't.
What, you don't like Yanni? Oh, you're not looking at the thing.
I'm not a 45-year-old soccer mom, so no.
Yanni is excellent, but I like keyboard music as someone who used to try to play the keyboard.
Used to try. I've literally watched you play keyboard. Well, I've watched videos.
It was not good though. I mean, but it was adequate while being surrounded by a bunch of other people who could play.
Doesn't it suck being average in the midst of super talented people?
Oh yeah, but it's kind of my life. But that's fine. It's better to be adequate than inadequate. So
Judging by the conversation on Tara's show earlier, it sounds like it.
as far as the band thing goes, I still wrote just about all of it. So even though my music accompaniment wasn't good, everybody else's was. So there are a couple times I almost heard what was in my head when I wrote it. So
Trey said I got Yanni songs in my head.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Yanni's good.
My mom listened to Yanni when I was a kid. Maybe that's why I got put off.
We dissing Yanni.
Lonzo just said the sentence, quit dissing Yanni. Yanni.
Hey, you're a guitarist. I'm a keyboard player. So, of course, you're going to go after the keyboard player. That's fine.
No. I don't go after keyboard players. I appreciate a good keyboard player because then they turn into good synth players, and I like that. All right? I'm dissing Yanni. Yanni is what, like, soccer moms start listening to when they're not cool soccer moms anymore. Like, when you graduate to, like, older soccer mom, you switch to Yanni and Barry Manilow.
All right, so here's I don't think you could put the two in the same because they're two totally different things. Rob doesn't like Yanni because it mellows him out and it weakens his scream, so to speak, and it puts him in a place of zen that he doesn't like to be at.
His scream, he says. For the record, I got no problem admitting music that other people will make fun of. I listen to Celtic Women. I just admitted that on the stream. I'm a big fan. May Reed, the violinist, Dreamboat. Love them. But Yanni
has a good head of hair. That also ranks up there for him.
Didn't he rock a stash that made Tom Selleck envious for a
Yeah,
while?
his stash was it was out there. It was Minshew like.
Minshew wishes. Yanni. For when Barry Manilow is a little too metal for you.
All right, again.
You got Yanni.
You're going to make me angry if you keep comparing Barry Manilow and Yanni. It's two different kinds of genres.
When Kenny G isn't getting it done for you, there's Yanni.
All right, at least that's an apt comparison.
Kenny G had some bangers. Yanni on the
He
show.
still might. I don't know if he gets radio play anywhere, but you know.
I Googled Yanni because I needed to see the Yanni stash from back in the day. And the first site that comes up is the official Yanni and Yanni community website. There is a Yanni community, ladies and gentlemen.
Who's the other Yanni? You said Yanni and Yanni. So that
Yanni and Yanni community website.
Oh, okay. All right, because I thought there were two Yannis. I thought
right,
one
let's
was
see.
enough. So
Oh, it's a little disappointing. At the top of Yanni's website, it says tour, and I clicked on it because I'm like, yo, maybe I'll get my mom Yanni tickets. She'll love it. And there's no tour dates available. Shockingly, Yanni's not on tour anymore.
he's writing new material. It takes a while.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And I'm sure it will sound definitely different than all the other Yanni songs.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
We could just talk Yanni the entire time. I mean, I'm fine with that. All right, the first thing is
Kenny
trend.
G's coming to Chattanooga in May. You in?
There you go. Oh yeah, I'm down. The first thing trending is Kushida.
Kenny G's coming to Asheville on May 20th. You in? That's
No,
even closer.
I can't go to Asheville.
That's even
That
closer.
place is weird.
Charleston, May 17th. I mean, come on. It's like he's doing this for us.
Charleston's out of my price range.
Can somebody at the well call up Yanni's people and let us be his reunion tour date? Can we get a Yanni Kenny G super show?
Yeah, who opens for who though?
Yanni opens for Kenny G. It's not even a discussion.
I gotta agree there. You're right.
Yanni opens for Kenny G. Of course he does. Kenny G's G is in his name. Might as well be Kenny OG.
Might as well be.
Kushida is trending because it was confirmed yesterday that he is no longer with WWE, which I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, Kushida, I enjoy Kushida, but kind of felt like he hit his limit, right? Like he had a really, really good run with the artist formerly known as Daniel Bryan before DB took off. He had some good, who was it? He had a really entertaining feud with Johnny Gargano before Gargano took off. But I don't. It never felt to me like Kushida was a main card threat, so I'm not totally shocked by this.
His contract was up. He just and the rumor is he's going to New Japan, which he
Which
probably
doesn't shock me.
Yeah, probably fit better there.
I enjoyed his wrestling in NXT, but it never really felt like a lot of these guys that do the hyper strong style Japanese style wrestling, like WWE's not gonna let them go full strong style. Like even Shinsuke, right? The king of strong style does not wrestle strong style, and I suspect that's where that came from.
All right, the next thing that's trending is John Jones.
What nerd did he cuss out this time?
Nerd.
What stash of drugs did he get caught using? Old lady did he hit? Or cop did he call a nerd this time?
All right, supposedly this summer he will be fighting, and his opponent, the opponent that Dana says it will be Stipe Miocic.
I'd have been cool with that fight about 6 years ago.
Yeah, especially when Stipe was the champ at the time.
About 6 years ago, this would have been this would have been a wholesale, I'm going out and I'm paying a lot of money to watch this fight. Actually, scratch that. This would have been, I'm going to stay at home and order the pay-per-view.
By the way, lots of Yanni fans on the stream. The last thing that's trending is Deshaun Watson.
D-Dub4 has got more court cases?
No, he showed up in Cleveland. And
he's there now.
the first picture is him holding up a jersey in the snow. Have fun with that.
I'm good.
It's April, people.
I'm good. I'm all right. Texture said, I thought the song Rob was humming was Yanni. Maybe I'm mistaking. I thought it was Aria. It was Aronico Flow by Enya, I think.
It's Orinco flow. But, that was a Florida pronunciation, I'm sure.
Ending the show on a high note. We're done, ladies and gentlemen. We're back tomorrow to try significantly harder. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. See you tomorrow on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Adios, stream. Go enjoy some Yanni. We'll see you tomorrow.